Welcome to Lights Out Podcast. Today we are reviewing the Jeddah Grand Prix, we are previewing the Miami Grand Prix, and then we're going to twist up our normal track preview by today.
She's going to race blindfold.
Yeah, that one. So, moving on.
Yes.
Jeddah.
Yes.
Highlights were obviously Oscar winning.
Go
Always
Oscar.
be a highlight. Lando fighting back from P10 to P4 was amazing, mind you. I'm also going to say it. I found it quite funny and slightly annoying when Lewis became very tricky to overtake. Particularly on that second time Lando tried to overtake him and Lewis slowed down.
Stomped on the brakes.
And, oh gosh,
yeah,
don't even get me started on that.
I noticed
it was a horrible thing.
If it hadn't taken Lando 3 goes to overtake Charles, he may have had a chance to fight for, hello, you're over there somewhere, fight for P3. Wasn't to be.
But still a pretty decent effort. Decent effort.
Yes. Other highlights. Oscar being the first Australian to lead a World Drivers' Championship since Mark Webber in 2010. It was a good race. I actually really enjoyed that race. There was lots of things happening. No chows from Ollie.
No, I think that was an adrenaline thing on his third race.
But that was fun.
The
other thing that I really liked was Oscar's excitement over team radio with the woohoo.
He's getting more and more expressive every time he wins.
Yes, more words for Oscar.
The ice is melting.
Yes.
No, but lap 1 chaos. My goodness.
Do we even want to go there?
I do.
You do? All right, go for it.
From the way I viewed it, obviously being a McLaren fan, I'm going to have my opinions that Max was most definitely in the wrong and deserved the penalty, mind you. From the way I viewed it, and we didn't watch it till, to be honest, I think I was actually, just a little sidetrack, glad that we weren't watching it live. I think my heart rate would have been way up and
through the roof.
Because, everyone else would have been asleep, I would have been, quietly going, and then, trying not to wake up the rest of the house and, having my little sheets tangled up going, oh, almost biting my nails. But no, the lap 1 chaos was quite chaotic. We had Max trying to cover off both Oscar and George.
Yeah.
So he covered off Oscar and then had to try and cover off George because George had that big open window. And then, in doing so, Max has effectively then left Oscar to get to the apex first. And then Max has decided to go, well, no, he didn't make any intention to go towards the towards the turn, to make the turn, when by the time effectively at turn 1, Max is, they've just come out of turn 1 and Max is here, he's already decided to go off. He knows what he's trying to do, and look, that's smart because,
it's worth a try.
It's worth a try trying to, say that, hey, whatever. But then to not, and I understand that he's trying to get the other drivers to have a penalty, so he's not going to give it back straight away. But he could have saved himself so much trouble. Yeah. He could have had that win, as much as I would hate to see it happen.
He could have fought back.
He could have fought back on track if he'd just given that position back and waited till the safety car, and then it was so late because by then stewards noted it, race control noted it. It was chaotic. And then Yuki and Pierre.
Yeah. Yuki air.
I
don't know if there was any air, but
not air time, but
there was definitely spinning.
And then for particularly like Lando to be able to dodge that, just see.
Oh, that was amazing.
See them crashing and go, ooh, I will
get
avoid
out of
that.
The way.
Stop it. Why? I know I give you pats, doesn't mean I want the licks. Really doesn't. So yeah, so that was a bit crazy and sad for PX. I think Alpine were they've been getting better.
Yeah.
They're probably a few upgrades from being,
Well, for Pierre, he was in Q3, wasn't he? So he was up in the top 10, which for Alpine of last year was a very rare thing.
But particularly when, even though, yes, it was, last year it was the second race, this year it's the fifth race. Considering last year in Saudi Arabia, same track, cooler conditions, mind you. Alpine were absolute tractors.
Yeah. And
then this year, mind you, Jack Doohan's got a little bit of learning to still do about the car.
Mm-hmm.
But then, what's his name, Pierre, just being able to send it up the grid. And even last year, he was finding that pace in the Alpine car.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit sad to see him not be able to make it into the race, because I think he would have been a strong contender. I think he'd definitely end up either being in, top 10.
Yeah.
I think.
And, of course, the other almost tussle that we can't forget is the one between Bortoletto and Alonso.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yes,
and then
driver and manager
about,
Oh, the red light?
No.
The
in the...
Oh, something about the flight home?
Yeah, in the cool-down room.
Yes.
That's what it's called. In the cool-down room, Oscar's saying, don't think Bortoletto's going to have a flight home tonight. I found pretty funny.
Actually, he called him Gabby.
Gabby, yeah. I love their nicknames.
Yeah.
Nico Hulkenberg calls Gabriella. Love it. And then Oscar's now calling him Gabby.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Oscar's the red.
The spotting of the red flashing light.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think I even saw it. I feel like I didn't see the balcony, but I felt like I might have seen it. Could have been cars harvesting. It was quite hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else?
No, it was just a really good race. It was good to watch. Lots of overtakes, lots of little bits and pieces here and there. Oscar winning, leading the World Drivers' Championship.
This is a weekend of drivers and their managers who are current and ex F1 drivers.
Yes,
a little bit.
And of course the 1 year intro of Ollie Behrman.
Yes. Miami. I've been seeing around. I've obviously I only started watching. Well, not obviously. You didn't know I only started watching.
Or is he just drooped?
No, he's just drooped.
Okay.
He's very awkwardly drooped. I only started watching the first race I watched. Well, the second race technically I watched live in 2023 was Miami. I'd just gotten KO Sports, and it had just been the Baku weekend, and then they'd flown to Miami. And so I haven't ever really had that feeling of, it's a really boring track, because to me, it's not that bad. It's not the best track. It's not like street circuit, tight corners, high speed track. It is more open, but I think there's
room for overtakes, isn't there? That's what we care
about. I think
about.
so, yeah.
DRS zones?
Yeah, there's one down the back main straight, I think, and down the front. So,
yeah, straight. Okay.
And in some of the corners, they're pretty good at getting through.
Mm-hmm. So opportunity for fun.
But a lot of people say that, even on my TikTok feed is what I've mainly seen it on. But a bunch of Miami Grand Prix edits just coming through. And everyone's like, might not be the best track, might not be best racing, but the edits are pretty good. And everyone's just excited for the edits. And it's always to that one, what's his name? Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will Smith's song, Miami. Always. So yeah. So.
Being the evil villain.
Dear. But yeah, no. Lando's first win marks a year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. Trying to think of else.
Another sprint race.
Another sprint race.
Sprint race number 2 for the year.
F1 Academy is back on again.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe there's F2 this weekend. I could be wrong. From memory, there is no F2. I think it's just F1 Academy. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. And I might say as well, I think Miami's my favorite American race because, well, mind you, Las Vegas isn't too bad. But Las Vegas and Miami are the ones that we can watch live from Australia.
Yeah, this is
which
true.
is very important when you don't have a lot of live viewing.
Having said that,
it's just not at a great time because you have to be awake at at least. I always like to be 10 minutes before if I'm not watching any of the pre-race shows, pre-race show stuff, because then that's 4:30. No, that's too early.
Too early.
5. Sorry. No, that's still 4:30. Math is not mathing. 4:30, 6 o'clock, and then it generally finishes around 7:30, I think.
Yeah.
But last year, which is so brilliant, being my favorite, I think my first favorite driver was definitely Lando, and so seeing him win his first Grand Prix live, I was happy for the entire day. Even school couldn't ruin it for me. I think I had English that first day, the first period or something. And actually, I might have had a study period, which meant I could go in later. I think
it was pretty special.
Yeah, I feel like I was dropping my sister to school. And so, because I'd often do, when I had a study period in the morning, I'd drop her off and then I'd go to school. And so I think I had a little bit of extra time ahead of me. But I was still so happy, my sister got so sick of seeing me bounce up and down the hallway. So I couldn't stop jumping. It was so, and it was a little bit controversial because, safety car pulled out in front of Max instead of Lando, which then allowed Lando to pit. But, I mean, probably almost every win is controversial, right?
Especially when it's been created by a safety car or a penalty or and it hasn't been purely won on the track.
Yeah.
So yes.
Or teammate swapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was very happy that I could go into school a bit later, and very happy that I was no longer catching the bus to school. Because if it was that case, it would have been a very much a quick sort of, okay, watch Lando cross the line and then start speed racing to get ready so I could be out the door by 7:30. I had got to my bus stop around 7:40, 7:45, so I had about, I always gave myself plenty of time. I think I had about 10 minutes to walk to the bus stop, which I really didn't need.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I was quite glad that Miami was at a time where I could watch it, and I was so happy for the rest of the day, and I think I was so happy for the rest of the week. It was, it was so good. I was quite devastated when Checo spun Lando out in the sprint race, but otherwise it was still pretty good. But I got to watch the podium ceremony. I think I then even ended up watching had post race interviews on and whatnot, and it was just this whole atmosphere. It was so good.
Yeah.
And I'll never live that down. That was I can still picture myself jump in my school uniform, jumping up and down in the living room, going, yeah, Lando.
Yes. Are we doing predictions?
Yeah.
P3. Oh.
There you go.
P3 I put in Max.
Fair.
Yeah.
P3 for me. I'm gonna put Ding. Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc.
Yes. Sorry, no, it's American, so it needs to be Chuck Leclerc.
Chuck Leclerc. P2.
You do P2.
P2. Our mate Oscar.
I think I know where you're heading with this. I think we've both got this. I'm also going to put Oscar in P2.
P1. 3, 2, 1.
Lando.
Lando.
I think it would be great for him to win Miami again.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though, from my knowledge, he hasn't gone out and partied this week.
Maybe that was the trick, though. He went out and partied, hurt his nose, won the race.
Yeah, who knows?
I think it'll be good for him, to get some of that
Confidence
mojo back.
Yeah.
He's incredibly tough on himself.
It's just a good thing. I mean, people say it's not a good thing that he shows it, but I mean, honestly, like even Sebastian Vettel's mentioned that, you know, we need more people, or particularly in that world, to do that industry, that
show a variety.
Need to show more.
Yeah.
Dude!
And show a variety of personalities, that not everyone is a stone cold killer. Yeah, but I think it'd be good, to get a bit of mojo back for him too. But if Oscar takes the win, everyone's going to be doing the whole, that's it, championship over. It's Oscar's year.
Mind you, it'll still only be the 6th race.
The 6th race. It's only a quarter of the way through. So I'd, you know, just to shut down some of that commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably bring up more commentary, the fact that, where are you off to, mate? That Oscar and Lando are going to end up being rivals by the end of this year.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I think they've got too much of a good bond together.
Yeah.
You know, you could call it friendship. You might not be able to yet. Because we don't see the behind the scenes dynamics, but
they're definitely good colleagues. And they know how to respect each other on track. It's how much of that feisty racing driver spirit comes through, and you know, the whole raging bull, I'm the only one that's going to win kind of mentality comes through, which they've got to have to be where they are, but to be able to keep it clean on track. We'll see how we go with that, but only time will tell.
So that will be it for this video, and there'll be a part 2 of the blindfold challenge for me for this week, as we end the what's the question?
This or that.
This or that question.
Yeah. Should we do a couple of laps around without the blindfold first, just to? Nah, you're gonna go straight into it. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So we'll see you in the next part. Bye bye.